Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Chicago's online worship. I am Monica Kling-Garcia, your Shug Ministerial Intern, and I am delighted to welcome you to worship this morning. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a community of children, youth, and adults, a people of many beliefs and traditions, bound not by the specific list of things we believe, but the values we share, and the mission to grow our souls and heal the world. Whether you are joining us online for the first time, or you've worshipped with us thousands of times, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God some of the time, all of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. No matter how much money's in your pocket, no matter if you have a PhD, a GED, or no degree, you belong here. We are a people of many races and beliefs. We are a people of many genders and sexual orientations. All of you is sacred. All of you is welcome. You belong here. Today, I am thrilled to introduce to all of you our guest preacher for this morning, Ali Bell. Ali is a seminarian at Meadville Lombard Theological School, which is the same seminary that I currently attend. Z is also currently the Ministerial Intern at the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Montclair, in Montclair, New Jersey. and Z is also the Senior Learning Fellow at the Church of the Larger Fellowship. Some of you may remember Zer from the reflection that we led together at the MLK service in January of last year. Ali and I started our seminary program together at the same time in the very same class. Over the years, we've gotten to see each other grow into our calling. And this is why I am just so excited for this community and all of us to get to experience Ali's ministry today. I invite you now to be present to this moment. Let us enter into this service together as the prelude begins.
The chalice lighting is from Love Can Transform the World by Maureen Killeran. Love is the aspiration the spirit that moves and inspires this faith we share. Rightly understood, love can nurture our spirits and transform the world. May the flame of this chalice honor and embody the power and the blessing of the love we need, the love we give, the love we are challenged always to remember and to share. With our chalice lit, we invoke our sacred space with this piece entitled To Invoke Love by Reverend Sean Parker Dennison. To invoke love is to ask for a hug from a thunderstorm, spill tea in the lap of the infinite trickster, to make the biggest, most embarrassing mistake of your life in front of everyone who matters. To invoke love is to never know if it will come softly with a nuzzle of a beloved dog or pounce right on your chest with the strength of a lioness protecting her cub, her pride, her homeland. To invoke love is to take the risk of inviting chaos to visit the spaces you spent so much time making tidy, and watch as the breath of life scatters everything you've only just folded and put away. To invoke love is to allow for the possibility that your words and actions might become so empowered you can no longer believe in apathy or the self-righteous idea that nothing can change. To invoke love is to give up self-deprecation, false humility, pride, to consider yourself worthy to be made whole, willing to encounter love that will never let us let each other go. To invoke love is to guard against assumptions, take care with our words, and practice forgiveness. Not as an ethereal ideal, but right here in the messy mist of our imperfect lives. To invoke love is to approach each day and every person with wonder, anticipating love's arrival. Is this the moment? Is this love's grand entrance? Is this person the embodiment of love? Am I the one? To invoke love is to play the fool, the one more concerned with loving than with the appearance or reputation, the one ready and willing to be vulnerable, abandoning anything that gets in love's way. To invoke love is to be ready to become love. Here, now, in everything we do. Are you ready?
I invite you now to join in the reciting of our covenant.
The commitment that we make to each other about what it is we're doing here, why we gather, who we're becoming, and who we are.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service is law. This is our great covenant.
To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
I invite you now to greet one another warmly in the chat box of friendship.
Remembering it's public, say hello.
The book today in our Time for All Ages has a theology that is very much like the theology that is in our sermon today about Julian of Norwich. Julian and the author of the book write about a God that is all-encompassing, and a God that's a God of love, and a God that is very much the author of our lives, a God that is more directive, and a God that is authoritarian in our lives. And I know that some of us have come from a past that could have provided a little bit of an ouch in our theological, in the theological parts of our lives and our spiritual parts of our lives. So I wanted to let you know that this is about to happen, and also to invite you to get into a soft place in your body, to settle into your body, to tell you that you are safe, and to invite you into the story in this place where you know that you are held in your community, in this place where you know that the theology that you have now is loved and respected, and allow you to ask yourself curious questions around what comes up when we share this story. It will be okay. Trusting God Through Fear and Change by Lisa Turkhurst, illustrated by Natalia Moore. In a dusty shed on a rickety shelf, hidden in a cozy packet, lived a tiny seed. Day after day, little seed watched as the farmer came into the shed. The farmer's strong hand would reach into the packet, and he would say, "I have a good plan for you," each time he selected a seed. Little seed knew the farmer was good and kind, but he did not want to leave his home. Little seed liked living inside the cozy packet on the rickety shelf in the farmer's dusty shed. He did not want to go. In the nearby woods, under the big tall trees in a comfy den, lived a playful fox. Little Fox raced around the tree trunks in the woods. "Yippee!" he shouted with glee. But then a long black shadow scared him, and he hurried to hide in his den. He was scared of the dark shadows and howling winds and rain and most everything. Little Fox liked his comfy den under the big tall trees in the nearby woods. He did not like being afraid. One particular dark night, a storm rumbled into the forest. Thunder boomed, lightning flashed, rain poured into Little Fox's den. "Oh no!" Little Fox cried as he scurried through the woods, trying to find somewhere safe and dry and not scary. He barreled inside the farmer's dusty shed, bumped into the rickety shelf, and knocked over the cozy seed packet. Little Seed rolled onto the floor. A surprised Little Fox found himself standing nose to nose with a very unhappy Little Seed. "I'm a little fox, and I live in the den under the big tall trees in the nearby woods," he explained. "I love to play in the woods, but I'm afraid of the dark shadows and the howling winds," he said. "There are no winds or shadows in your shed. Can I live here with you? Will you be my friend?" Little Seed said, "Do you see a pillow? Do you see a bed? Do you see a place to lay your wet head? No, you don't, because this safe place is the farmer's shed." But then Little Seed thought of how safe and warm it was inside the cozy packet on the rickety shelf in the farmer's dusty shed. He thought it might be quite nice to have a friend. Little Fox and Little Seed became the best of friends. Little Seed told silly stories, and Little Fox made funny faces. And each day when the farmer came to the shed, Little Fox hid away, but the farmer was good, and the farmer was kind, and the farmer was always watching over them, even when they didn't know it. One morning, the farmer came into the shed as he had on many days. "Little Seed," he said as he placed him in his hand, "I have a wonderful plan for you. I've waited for just the right time, and today is the day." "Oh, no, please no. I don't want to go," thought Little Seed. The farmer went outside and knelt down. He pushed Little Seed under the ground, into the dirt, and down into a deep, dark, messy place. "Now, Little Seed, this is going to be different, and it might seem scary, but it'll be okay. You can trust me," said the farmer. Little Seed wished he were inside the cozy packet on the rickety shelf in the farmer's dusty shed. "I want to trust even when I can't see, but how in the world is this good for me?" "Little Seed, come back," cried Little Fox when he saw the farmer take his friend away. "Where are you, Little Seed?" He looked in the front of the shed and behind the shed, but Little Seed was not there. He looked on top of the tractor and under the tractor, but Little Seed was not there. He looked under the duck's wings and inside the dog's floppy ears. He looked in the horse's stall, the pig's pen, even in the farmer's boot, but Little Seed could not be found anywhere. Now Little Fox was really worried. "Little Seed," he shouted, "I'm here, I'm here. Way down in the dirt. I'm scared and I'm lonely. But I'm not hurt," came Little Seed's muffled voice right below him. Little Fox thought hard for something to say or something to do that would help his friend not be scared. But he was afraid too. "It's different and scary to be someplace new, but it'll be okay, Little Seed." Little Seed was not so sure, and neither was Little Fox. But the farmer was good, and the farmer was kind, and the farmer was always watching over them, even when they didn't know it. Little Fox stayed by Little Seed night after night and day after day, and he was scared and lonely too. But after a while, Little Fox started to see how the farmer took care of them. Fresh water for Little Seed, sweet berries for Little Fox. He wasn't even quite so afraid when he saw the dark shadows or heard the howling wind. And Little Fox was starting to believe that the farmer was good. And the farmer was kind. "My friend," whispered a sleepy Little Fox to Little Seed, "go to sleep. It will be okay." Little Seed sat in that dark and messy place for what seemed like a very long time. But one spring morning, Little Seed felt a mysterious stirring. He looked down and discovered he was no longer a little seed. He was becoming something brand new, something wonderful. He pushed up through the dark, out of the dirt, and right through the ground, and there, looking sleepy-eyed and surprised, was his friend, Little Fox. Little Fox looked down and saw a beautiful green sprout. "My friend!" they each exclaimed with glee. They were once again nose to nose, and Little Seed told silly stories, and Little Fox made funny faces, and after many days of fun, Little Seed said, "Little Fox, look up and see. It's hard to believe what's become of me. From the messy, dark place, I grew and grew, from a seed to a tree. Only the farmer knew." And together they made it through the dark and scary time, and together they each learned that the farmer was good, and the farmer was kind, and the farmer was always watching over them, even in dark, messy places. Little Seed was never supposed to be just a seed in a seed packet. And little Fox was not supposed to be alone and afraid. The seasons came and the seasons went, and Little Seed grew into a big, strong tree. And Little Fox raced around his tree trunk, and sometimes Little Fox lay in the tall, cool grass near Little Seed, and the breeze tickled his nose, and the sun warmed his belly, and the good, kind farmer was always watching over them. Little Seed liked things to stay the way they were, and Little Fox was sometimes afraid. But as they learned to trust the farmer, we can learn to trust God. God has a wonderful plan. God loves you and is kind. And in the end, it really will be okay.
Friends, will you take a breath with me? And another, slowing yourself down, settling yourself in right exactly where you are. And open that inward door to the spirit of compassion, of gentleness, of care, of reality. Disappointed and despairing and disconnected. That is us. And hurt by the insults of the world, hurt by addiction and mental illness. That's us too. Hurt by violence, and violence which has touched the lives of those we love. That's us. And it's not the whole story. No one of us is our worst day. No one of us has a life defined by the time we failed to act. We are each of us held in a larger body, called by many names. But we are love's people, which we can make real to each other. The mystic Julian of Norwich said, "If there is anywhere on this earth a lover of God who is kept wholly safe, I know nothing of it. But it is in the falling and the rising that we're kept inside that love." We ask and hope and pray this morning, in whatever our languages are, to be the people we're called into becoming, to let the better angels of our nature shine through us into the world, that our words match our wants and our actions match our aspirations. We ask and hope and pray this morning to turn aside from anger and hate, even of those we call enemies, to let go of delicious, rotten self-righteousness. May we stagger not with the uneven motions of the world, but go steady on our way, whatever the weather, clear mind, open, broken hearts, and hands ready to serve. Each time we gather for worship, we set aside a moment to expand the caring ministry of this congregation. Together we recognize the cycle of life and death, the circle of love, compassion, and witness that is at the center of this and every sacred community. And so I invite you now to type the names of those you'd like to lift up today in the care of this gathered community, remembering that the chat is public. And for all those souls, all those cares and concerns, all those griefs and hopes that remain unspoken on your heart. Amen.
All shall be well. I know, right? It may seem a hopeful, bold, and maybe delusional statement to make, considering how things have been going. And I know we've had ecological disasters and conflicts between nations. And of course, we're still in the middle of 2 pandemics, yet I have proclaimed it to be true. All will be well eventually. Or at least that is what I am believing now that I've started to read Julian of Norwich. That's what she believed. Julian lived in the late 1300s and was a Roman Catholic. Julian of Norwich was an anchoress, a woman who believed that she needed to live in a cell secluded from others and devoting herself to God. And her devotion to God was so strong that she prayed unceasingly for a stronger understanding of Christ. She wanted to experience the passion, the sickness, and then an early death so that she could know everything that she believed that a soul experienced in death, including satanic assaults and the administration of last rites. But she didn't want to die so that she could learn how to live more mindful of God. She wanted to receive the wounds of absolute remorse, kind compassion, and a steadfast longing for God. Julian was devoted. Her faith and her devotion to God were like her food and her water, her sustenance. And as she started to receive the things that she prayed so devotedly for, she was steadfast, even when she was lured by Satan and tormented by demons. So when Julian reports that she saw Jesus, she asked him the question that had been bothering her, even in her devotion. She asked Jesus, why in all of God's foresight didn't he prevent sin? Imagine that. Imagine being able to ask the source of your devotion, why didn't things jibe up? Imagine the courage and devotion that it takes to ask the hard questions in the face of some entity, some spirit, some source that you hold so dear. See, Julian, on one hand, was devoted to God, yet she questioned why sin existed. And this questioning, it fell outside of what she had been taught, what she believed she should be thinking. She was disturbed that she couldn't rid herself of these questions. Julian reported that Jesus compassionately told her that sin was needed, but not to worry, because all shall be well. Julian was satisfied with this answer and went on to live a very long and fulfilling life. It reminds me of our story for all ages. The farmer was good and the farmer was kind, and that kind of steadfast devotion without questioning. It's interesting. When I read that story for all ages, it was hard for me to digest. It falls outside of my theology. And Julian actually does too. But when she questioned, why is it that sin exists? And received the answer, and then didn't question anymore, I thought, wow, I don't know what that's like. I don't know I don't know that experience. I appreciate it. Curious about it. I don't know that experience. Maybe some of you do. The story of Julian of Norwich reminds me of how people often trust and love, yet wonder why people keep disconnecting from each other. Or how people were taught that everyone had access to the American dream, yet were faced with systematic oppressions. In the story of Julian of Norwich, she says that Jesus told her that sin was needed. I've wondered about that. How do you think that Jesus would say that sin was needed? This idea of sin brings me back to my theology. I believe that sin is a willful disconnection that people make one from the other. And when I speak of disconnections, I'm speaking of the space in which we block others so completely out of our lives that we can't allow loving kindness to be extended to them. One of my favorite meditations is a metta meditation, loving kindness meditation. And in our UU congregations, we sing a version of this metta meditation from our teal color hymnals, Singing the Journey. If you have one back at home, it's hymn 1031, filled with loving kindness. In case you don't know it, I'm not a singer, but it goes something like, may I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. And then may you be, and then may we be. And the thing about the metta meditation is that you start with yourself and you wish for yourself, or you ask for yourself, or you deem for yourself, or you call for yourself. Fill in any of those words that you need for yourself. This loving kindness, you fill yourself with it. And then you bring into your mind this person, you, whoever the you is, you bring that in. And then you bring in someone else. And then you bring in the world. And then you just keep bringing in, and bringing in until we're vibrating all of the loving kindness that we can give out. Now, for me, what I do, and people do this in many ways. So I'm sure that in this congregation, there are many people who do this loving kindness meditation. And then maybe you can talk to each other about it. Maybe you're talking about it right now in the chat. But imagine if you allowed yourself to think of the person who has most hurt you. And this is how I do this meditation. Imagine if you allowed yourself to think of the person who has most hurt you. And you allowed loving kindness to flow from you to them. Don't get me wrong. This is not easy. I have tried this and failed on multiple occasions, allowing sin, the willful disconnection of people, to dim the light that spreads through my interdependent web. And I'm not asking you to start a new relationship with people who've harmed you. There are some people who have harmed me so severely that it is unhealthy and unsafe for me to start again with them. I'm not asking you to do that. However, as a Unitarian Universalist, the way that I practice my theology and my faith is to live into our principles. the worth and dignity of all people, the compassion that is required of us, the encouragement of our spiritual growth, belief that we are connected in an interdependent web of life. And see, the other part that is unspoken in this meta that I find beautiful and transcendent is the hope that it holds out for humanity. Imagine the ways in which the world would change if each of us meditated to bring forth a whole, peaceful, and loved world society. Imagine what would happen to the systems of oppression that we encounter. Imagine how we encounter everything within us that keeps us separated, that keeps us bound in the bondage of oppression. That world is the world that I want us to just fill with loving kindness and just dismantle. And when we dismantle that world, that new world is the world that I'd like to inhabit. In times such as these, when my heart is broken open by the injustices of the world, by the deep woundings in our faith, by the everyday stress of the world, the everyday stresses of living in the pandemic of white supremacy and the pandemic of COVID, I know that I can't go on poisoning myself with disconnection. It's really hard though. It's really hard when every day it feels just like a slog. We've been doing this for a year now. Just seems like a constant cycle, right? It feels hard to connect sometimes. And the way I'm combating it is I know that I have to lean into my values. I have to live into my values. I must trust that my interdependent web of love, my web of life can hold me. And I must believe that as a Unitarian Universalist, practicing the breathing of love and healing in every breath, that I intentionally inhale and exhale as I spread loving kindness to those people who have loved me and those who have harmed me, and that I find healing, that I find divinity, that I will find guidance. And then, and only then, will each of us be well. The whole and holy of us shall be well.
Said, Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. And Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. I said, Julian, do you not know about sorrow? And Julian, do you not know about pain? And I said, Julian, do you not know about hunger? And Julian, do you not know about shame? But she said, all will be well, all will be well, all know about disease? And I said, Julian, do you not know about cruelty? I said, Julian, it's too much. It brought me to my knees. But she said, all will be well. All will be well. All manner of things will be well. And she said, no one does not know about sorrow, and no one does not know about pain. She said, no one does not know about hunger, and no one does not know about shame. And she said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And she said, no one does not know about loneliness, and no one does not know about disease. And she said, no one does not know about cruelty. She said, I know it's too much. It brought me to my knees, where I heard, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. I said, Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. And Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And she said, baby girl, do you not know about tenderness? She said, baby girl, do you not know about friends? And she said, baby girl, do you not know about the Spirit? She said, baby girl, do you not know it's only love that never ends? And so all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And so all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well.
May I, may you, may we be filled with loving kindness. Let the kindness shine a bright light, guiding us to our most sacred selves and encouraging us to build the world that we wish to inhabit and pass on to the next generation. Let us seek the light in each of us, keeping us connected to our interdependent web, keeping our hearts and our minds and our breaths in wholeness and holiness. Amen. Ashe, and blessed, blessed, blessed be.
Thank you for worshiping with us today here at the First Unitarian Church of Chicago. On behalf of our church, I'd like to extend sincere thank yous to the many hands and many hearts that made this worship service possible. Our fantastic guest preacher, our worship team, our musicians, and you, our friends and members. All the work that we do as a church, both in worship and in our community, is financially supported by our members and our friends. We ask that you consider this morning making a financial contribution to the church today to support the ongoing work of this congregation. You can donate either by text or by clicking on the donations button at the bottom of our website. More details on how to do that will appear on the next screen. Thank you for being here with us today and choosing to be a part of this community. Be well and blessed be.